What up, Keep Real fam? Welcome back to another video. Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Wanted to make this highly requested video because I am a 21-year-old and I feel like this is the prime age for dealing with lust. And I know a lot of people are kind of trying to overcome lust, they're seeing the power that it has over them, the control that it has over them. And so I just want to start it off by saying this is my story, this is my experience. It could be better, it could be worse compared to yours, but this is my experience and kind of my perspective and approach towards it. So first things first, coming out of high school or in high school, I was a virgin. I was a virgin up until 18. I'm now 21 years old, so it's been 3.5 years. But I know in high school, I was a big porn watcher, and I want to discuss both my relationships with women, but also my experience with porn in this video. But I was a big porn watcher, not addicted, but once a week type thing, maybe twice a week. And so I know the struggle of, feeding my mind that type of content, especially on Instagram. Instagram was full of models. TikTok eventually got full of models. I was constantly just seeing explicit content, looking at women, objectifying them, wanting to do something with them. My mind was driven with the idea of, oh, I want to have sex or I want to do these things. And it took me a while to let go of that. But how I got to a place where I let go of that, obviously, when I turned 18, I ended up losing, or halfway through being 18, I ended up losing my virginity. And I feel like that was why I got so attached to certain people in my past, because I got attached to that feeling that I had wanted for so long, just like being able to have sex and stuff or being able to mess around with somebody. I got sexually attached to certain people, and it made me beg for people, it made me fiend for people, it made me not have respect for myself, it made me, not have any type of self-worth or sense of self-worth. I handled rejection terribly, and I feel like I was just sometimes looking at people and just wanting that out of them rather than caring about who they were as a person. And I feel like the older I grew and the more attractive I became, let's be honest. Like, I see myself as a very attractive person now. It's something I'm aware of, not just because people tell me, but just because of the person I built myself into, my mindset and all the other things, gym, whatever. But I recognize, like, people find me attractive now. So it's a lot easier to get certain things compared to me in high school. And so
now, mind y'all, this is what I looked like in high school.
Seeing what I could get from the person I had built myself into, it was very easy to get access to certain things. But I feel like the more I constantly gave in, the more I realized the temporariness of it. So right now with my lust, I'm a person where I don't really care to just do things casually. Like, every girl I talk to, every person I interact with, like, it comes with an intention. It's never with the intention of just getting something out of them. And I've been like that for probably almost 1.5 years now, to where I don't do casual relationships. I don't just sleep around with people and, give myself away to other people casually. And that's because it got to a point where at one point I thought it was going to fulfill me. At one point I thought, if I could get this, then I'll feel this type of way, or, I just want this, I want this sex for no reason, or I just want it just because I want it, just because I'm horny. But I feel like the more I gave into it, the more I realized the temporary feeling of it. Going in, when you first get that urge, when you have that temptation, it's like you think you need to release it. You think you need to give that energy to sex or porn or whatever. You think you need to. But I feel like once you recognize, like, the emptiness and the post-nut clarity, or just like the sex clarity, like, you realize the temporariness of it.
Now, as I'm editing this, I want y'all to know, like, I wasn't a hoe or anything like that, but I was on, like, dating apps, and I would always, like, sometimes be in girls' DMs, or I would talk to girls with just the intention of getting something out of them, or I would hang out in order to do things. And so just having that discernment to know, like, dang, there's really nothing on the other side of this. It made me kind of get away from those temptations and doing those pointless things.
And I feel like for me, I got to a point where I was like, bro, I don't even want to do this anymore. As of like 1.5 years ago, I remember, I had people who were willing to do certain things, people who wanted to do certain things. And it got to a point where I literally learned to say no, because I saw the temporariness of it. And I saw how it drained me and made me feel really bad about myself, because for the longest time, I feel like now I look at myself as a valuable person. I know who I built myself into, and I don't like just being able to give that away to anyone. I don't like anybody being able to say they had access to me. And so it made me become a lot more intentional about the people I deal with and what I allow them, what I do with them. Because right now where I'm at in life, if I don't see it becoming a relationship, if I don't see it becoming something more, then I want nothing to do with it really, because I know, there's nothing. Attraction can only take you so far. Fun or sex can only take you so far, to a point where eventually it's like, I don't really care, or this is just a numbing effect kind of thing. I feel like for the longest time, the only reason I even cared about doing it was to get an ego drive, to make me feel good about myself. I felt accomplished when I could get somebody to do things with, when I could have sex with somebody, when I felt like I worked towards something, I achieved the goal I was going after. I got a sense of ego drive. But also for a while, I feel like I was just caught up in having options, or being able to say that I did this with this person, being able to say I did that and got this. Like, I feel like my ego got caught up in the satisfaction of how it looked compared to other people, or where it fell in the societal values of having options, or having a bunch of girls, having a bunch of women, because that's just kind of what men talk about all the time.
I feel like for me, I also made these decisions just because I was lonely at times, or I just wanted comfort, or I just wanted interaction with somebody and wanted to feel chosen. If y'all kind of know my story, y'all know where that can come from. But yeah.
So I feel like I got caught up in that. But then I kind of took a step back, because I'm a person where I've been raised a certain way. I've seen my parents, my grandma, my mom, my grandma, my sister. I got all three of those women in my life. Those are some of the most important women in my life. And so knowing what they've been through, hearing stories they've told, it made me like question at a point in time, what type of man do I want to be? Because I realized back then, I wasn't looking for anything more. It was kind of just like manipulate your way into getting whatever, but then kind of go on whatever. Like, no real intention, no real care. Just do whatever it takes to get your desired outcome, your desired goal. I feel like at one point I finally questioned, like, what type of man do you want to be? And, is that the type of person that you want to be, where it's like you just kind of use people, or you kind of just get what you want, and then that's all it is. There's nothing more to it. And so I feel like just seeing the temporary satisfaction in it kind of made me, want to stop. I realized, like, again, some people would throw themselves at me, some people would offer me the options, and I had to really learn how to have like self-control, self-discipline. It was just saying, nah, it's not something I'm interested in. Even though I could very much so let that loose, even though I may be tempted, just recognizing, like, on the other side of this, you're going to feel this emptiness. You're going to feel this non-fulfillment. You're going to feel like, bro, that was just a temporary moment. And I feel like the more valuable you make yourself, the more you recognize like your own worth, you're not just going to be willing to give that to everybody. It's no different from, you're more cautious of the people you allow in and out of your life. The better of a person you build yourself into, the more you see your value and what you worked, what you've done in order to get to where you are in life. It's like, you're not just going to allow anybody to have access to it. And I would feel like this sense of guilt of like, dang, bro, I just let this person have that type of access to me. Dang, I just did that just for the heck of it. And now I got a whole nother body. And so it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I got to stop. I can't just do this casual stuff because it's not fulfilling me. It's making me feel some type of way about myself. And I want to be more intentional. I want to, be a better me, basically. And I'm not even going to sit here and act like it's a easy thing to go through, because you get those urges and your head down here is thinking completely different. It just wants what it wants. But I feel like when you learn to have that real self-control and realize that in the end you have the final choice, you have the final decision, then you recognize like, I don't gotta act on this. And I feel like it's helped me a lot, because it's made me actually look at the things I value. It's made me value the things that actually matter. Like, I don't just look at women and just see them for their looks or their body or whatever. Now I actually like care about the substance of them. I look past, I feel like getting that self-control made me look deeper into people rather than just seeing them for, their looks. Like, it made me look internally, like, who are you as a person? What do you provide to my life, or what do you bring to my life or add to my life? How do you make me a better me, possibly? And when you start looking for that substance, it's like, dang, I'm not even attracted to you, really. Dang, I don't even want to do that with you. Because I know for myself, it got to a point where it was like, I don't even enjoy doing the act with somebody that I'm not serious about. because if I don't have that type of emotional connection to you, or a connection to you beyond just looks, then I won't even enjoy it because it's just not fun to me. Again, this is my own personal story. This is my own personal experience. So however you experience it, I ain't judging you. Do what you do. But for the people here who kind of feel the same way that I felt, then I'm just kind of explaining how I went through it. But, even when I go out now, I've been going out a lot recently as far as partying and as far as just like hanging out with friends and stuff. It makes me look at people, and I'm very observant. So I observe who people are hanging out with, how they carry themselves, what their values are. And so it's like some people like smoking. I don't like people who smoke really. It might be who they hang around with and just kind of their behavior and their attitude and approach towards life, or even what they think about and talk about, how they talk. Like looking out those different things, it's like, dang, I wouldn't even care to do that with you. Like, yes, you look pretty, you look good, but I wouldn't even want to take it beyond that level because I want something deeper. I want something that's meaningful. I want an actual connection.
I think it's important to also say, like, just because I know people are going to ask me, like, I don't even go out now with the intention or that goal in mind of like trying to get somebody to go home with me or just getting a bunch of girls. Like, I feel like I go out now with a more pure intention of genuinely just hanging out with friends, meeting new people, and just having a good time. And I know for some of y'all that's hard to believe, but that's just genuinely how I live my life now.
I know a lot of people like around my age don't think like that, and you might be saying like, dang, don't that mean you go a while without getting nothing, or don't that mean like you barely get anything? To be fair, yes, but at the same time, it's like, would you rather, just give yourself away to any and everybody? Or again, like, would you rather like use that and do that act with people who you actually care about, people who you actually have a connection with, people who it actually makes it enjoyable, not just getting a quick release, but it's something that might build a relationship into something more. And I feel like in being able to look past that, I can go months, I can go a week, I can go whatever amount of time I need to go until I feel like I'm with somebody who's worth doing that with. And again, I do get tempted at times because again, I'm an attractive person. Like people come to me, people try to hit on me, people I see easy. I don't mind. I'm not a unconfident person. Like I know how to talk to people. I know how to flirt with people. Yada yada. But I feel like when you have a bigger goal rather than just sex, it's like, but I don't even feel like doing that, or you don't fall into that temptation basically because you see on the other side of it like there's nothing there. Now it's like once it's all over, now what? Do I get an ego boost? Do I just I could just say I did this with this person? It's like, what meaning does that hold, and who does it hold meaning to? Is it to impress people around me? Is it just to get an ego boost and make me feel like I'm more attractive? But I already love who I am. I already feel good about myself. Like I don't need other people or need to do things with other people in order to feel that way about myself. And so you just kind of see the temporariness in it, and how just a lot of it is just purposeless and just holds absolutely no value. I feel like also the more you like make yourself a valuable person, like your value decreases when everybody can say they had access to you. Like what does it sound like to, especially in the position that I'm in, like where I preach motivation, knowing your worth, knowing your value. What would it look like if any and everybody could just say, oh, I had access to him. Oh, I did this with him. I did that with him. Oh, he did this to me. Like, what does that even look like? And I'm not saying I do it just to like hold up this image, but just even in my own value. Like I wouldn't want multiple people being able to say like they had access to me, or I was an easy person that, it took nothing to get something out of me. No. I'm a lot intentional. I'm very like, I do things with a purpose. I don't just do things just because. Like I do things, I build relationships with people that I feel like it'll go something further than just attraction or just getting something out of it. And that's honestly just like one reason I don't really be drinking alcohol neither, because I know what side of myself comes out like when I'm under the influence or when I'm not sober. Like that's why I haven't drinking probably like drank where I've gotten drunk probably in like 2 years now. Because I like saw what it would do to me. I saw how it would make me feel. I saw how it would make me like make boneheaded decisions just because I felt like it, just because I had an urge, just because I was tempted, just because the option was there. And so now I don't really even drink because I don't even want to put myself in that type of state. I don't even want to put myself in that position to make a dumbass decision that doesn't align with my values or align with, making a wise decision that I know I shouldn't be making. But now I'm gonna transition a little bit into like porn and stuff. My experience with porn, again, when I was younger, it used to be not an addiction, but like a routine, like once, twice a week. Then I had to clear my feed out. I had to clear out the Instagram models. I had to make sure I was watching content that wasn't putting me in that state. And honestly, up until about a month ago, or not a month ago, like 2, 3 months ago, I was honestly doing it like once a month. And honestly, that's really nothing compared to a lot of other people. And I would realize like a lot of me deciding to do that very thing was just me being bored. Was honestly literally just me being like, bro, I'm bored, bro. It's a Friday night. I ain't doing nothing. Or I don't feel like just sitting here on the game. Or I'm tired of just watching this movie. And it's just like my mind would just be like, oh, what else can I possibly do? And that would just be one of the things it would come up with. And I would just give in to that urge. But now it's like I'm getting a lot more disciplined even in that aspect area of my life where it's like, you don't got to give into that thought. Like sometimes all you got to do is notice a thought to give into it and recognize like your horniness can just sit there. Your urge can just sit there. You don't got to act on it. You can notice like, hey, I'm having this urge right now, but that doesn't mean I got to do anything about it. And I feel like many people, we make all these excuses. I know for myself, I used to make a bunch of excuses. Oh, it's not good to just hold it in. Oh, it's not good to, it's a normal human function. And that would give you an excuse to give into it. But I feel like even me strengthening my relationship with God, it made me like become a lot more intentional about giving in to lust because of the guilt that would come after it and knowing like, bro, you know better than this type thing. And I'm not going to turn this into a religious video, but that's just me for myself. Like me developing a relationship with God made me like desire to stop giving in to lust because I know like how bad it is. But even then, like with porn, like I get the urge from time to time, but I recognize like I don't gotta really react to it. I recognize like I have the power in the final decision, but also seeing the temporariness of it, like knowing what's on the other side of like giving into that urge. Like again, it's a temporary feeling. And I've also noticed how it mentally fogs me up. I noticed how it mentally bothers me and how it just doesn't even make me feel good about myself. If anything, it makes me feel drained and like I'm not the best version of myself. So that's kind of been my experience with porn. It's again not as deep as other people's may have been. I know some people doing that joint once every other day or twice a day. Like I've never been that bad, and I can honestly and happily say that. But I know some of y'all might be in a dark place with that. And my advice to you is to start day by day. Like I feel like you can't stop that type of habit all at once. Like you can't just, some people like to count the days of how long they've gone without it. Like now I get to a point where I don't even know how many days I've been without it. I just know I'm not a porn watcher anymore. But you honestly got to start small. Like set small goals, whether it's 3 days without it. Hey, I just want to go a week without it. I want to go a couple weeks without it. Like it's going to be hard to stop that type of habit if you do it like every day, every other day, and just like automatically stop. And so I feel like it's something sometimes you got to start small with, overcome over time, because it's definitely very, very hard to just instantly stop. But all in all, really where I stand with lust is just knowing the type of person I want to be. I won't say I don't get tempted. I won't say I don't do a double take every now and then and possibly fall into it. Like I do it, but I don't ever act on it. I don't ever, fall into that temptation. But instead, I look for the deeper meanings. Like I care about, again, people's values, who they are as a person, whether they're a good person, what they add to my life. Like I feel like the more you grow, and even sometimes the more you do those things, you're gonna realize like, dang, you really get nothing out of this. You really just giving yourself away. You really only demoralizing your own value and devaluing who you are as a person, because you're just allowing any and everybody to have access to you and the person that you built yourself into. But I never judge anybody for where they stand with their lust or the decisions that they decide to make, especially at our age. Like, do what you do. If something that makes you happy, if it's something that you don't see as a struggle, then do what you do. Do what you feel is best for you. But it's just kind of just my experience, my story, what I value. Seeing the temporariness in certain things and recognizing like, yeah, I want real connection instead of this temporary pleasure stuff. But yeah, if this video helped you out in any type of way, if it gave you a little bit of clarity, if you have any questions regarding it and my approach towards anything else regarding it, then be sure to leave a comment. Be sure to ask the questions. Hoodies are up on the site. I know summertime, but The designs I got out are the last bit of the designs. I only have larges and smalls left, so if you want one, go cop one before they're gone. But yeah, join up on the Discord, sign up for the Let and Go to Grow community down in the description, dropping very, very soon. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.